What's wrong?
I feel trapped. I'm gonna fight you
We're
guys.
right here.
I know.
You want to fight me?
I'll fight both of you.
Let's throw hands, bro. Fisticuffs.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
With that mustache, it's definitely one of these.
Yeah,
one of
he's
these right here?
getting up in the 30s boxer.
I've fought bigger women than you.
Yeah.
What's up, YouTube? This is Mike here from Cloud Defensive. Got Trent here, my right-hand man. And then if you guys, of course, know Casey Hildreth, our in-house trainer here at Cloud Defensive.
Of course. Of course.
Of
you
course.
Yeah.
World famous.
No, not at all. I don't want to be famous. Yeah, what are we doing today? What are we talking about?
Well, you spent 20 years,
Yeah.
right? 20-year service. So we thought it'd kind of be a good idea. We want to see what kind of guns you came across, whether it be, well, small arms, because when we first came to you with this list, you're like M2,
Yeah.
and then a minigun. I'm like, well, unfortunately, the government does not allow us to have such things.
This is terrible. That's terrible news.
So we could say, all right, let's keep it to small arms.
Yeah.
And really, so either it was something that you used personally, or you came across and you just really liked it during your 20 years in.
Yeah.
And kind of want to go from your top 5, from your perspective. So I know you don't like talking about yourself, but for those who don't know, can you give a very brief synopsis of your military career?
So I joined in 2000, went basic and then to airborne and then to the Ranger Indoctrination Program. Grew up at 3rd Ranger Battalion, was there for a piece, went to selection in 2004 and did my last 15 years, retired out of 5th Group at Fort Campbell. So spent 15 years over there. It had been 10 years white side stuff, and then the last 5 years I was part of the Commanders in Extremis Force or Crisis Response Force or whatever the acronym is now. I know we've changed a lot, so yeah.
So safe to say you've seen a little bit.
I've seen some stuff,
Seen some stuff.
things, especially when it pertains to small arms. I wasn't really a gun nerd probably until my period as an instructor, where it was just kind of inherent with the job to know, from a troubleshooting standpoint, and especially from a ballistic standpoint, all of those things. That's when it became kind of more important, and I kind of started delving into the craft and a little further, and really got serious about my marksmanship and proficiency in that space. So yeah.
All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and start out the list. All right. What was your number 5?
So number 5 would be the Glock 19 or Glock 17. Reason being is,
we just happen to have one right here.
oh my goodness,
Funny how that works, right?
crazy.
And of course, for the internet RSOs, everything has been cleared beforehand.
Internet RSOs, I really like that. So the reason I put this on the list is because previously we had the Beret 92. Nothing wrong with that firearm. Actually, I'm a fan of that firearm, to be perfectly honest with you. Just had a 2-stage trigger from the rip. In addition to that, from a safety procedure, after engagements, you obviously engage the decocker. It's not a safety. The decocker to holster back up and whatnot. So the striker-fired Glock 17 or 19 allowed for a little more ease of maneuver, saving you some time during engagements and whatnot. And frankly, I think it's a little bit safer. Some people will argue that, but I just like the ergonomics of the Glock better now. If I shoot anything other than a Glock, then I have to pay particular attention not to heel under, just because my wrist lock is in that position permanently, just because I have so many reps on this thing. But yeah, man, huge fan of it. And that is my number 5.
All right, started off with the Glock. Now for number 4, you went with a kind of a wide range.
Yeah.
But we'll allow it. So it was the AR-15 in general, but in particular, we have an example here that there's actually a photo of you with a Mark 18 Mod 0.
Say it ain't so.
We just happen to have one right here.
Look at you guys go.
How is that? JT, thank you so much.
The workhorse, dude. So yeah, I got to when I got to regiment, this is the bag right here, man. So you guys even got the broom handle on it. That's dope. There's a range right across the street from 3rd Bat. We'd get all our stuff, all our range stuff. We'd get kitted up and then we'd run to and from the range and whatnot. But yeah, this is bringing back some memories here, dude. That's pretty cool. Funny story. I'll tell this real quick. So we were on a range. We're shooting a night qual, I think, and probably 2 weeks at regiment. Mike Albaugh, who now is the former regimental sergeant major, and my squad leader, Kurt Donaldson, who's also former regimental sergeant major. I grabbed Mike's rifle when Mike was supposed to be on the line, and I'm out there just qualling my ass off. So needless to say, I paid a pretty hefty price that night and the day after. So, but lessons learned, you know what I mean? So now that's super cool.
So we also have one that you later on used, which is the Block 2 Mark 18. This one again isn't perfectly clone correct or anything, but did you?
Shame on you guys.
Did you later end up using the Block 2? I thought you said you had.
I don't know what they're all called, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, this is very similar to what I carried toward, I don't know, what was this, probably 2012 these came into service, I guess. Yeah, man, the old quad rail. That's a banger as well.
Riz 2 rail.
Riz 2 rail, I was actually gonna point that out. I don't know what that is. But yeah, man, same thing, a lot of work with this Bad Larry.
Which did you
Super
prefer,
nostalgic.
you think? Did you also use the 14.5? I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, we had the 14.5, and then honestly, from a ballistic standpoint, this is a mistake that is pretty common in my personal opinion. You want the dwell time and you want a rifle length gas system in order to achieve the optimal ballistic output, if you will, or the ballistic path. The more dwell time you have, the more muzzle velocity you're gonna have. So if you're fighting to target, man, you want that long barrel. And again, if you're fighting to target and into the house, or you're doing an offset or whatever, I promise you that length pays off way more than that short barrel does. And we've tested it time and time again, especially when I was an instructor and whatnot. So foot pounds on terminal ballistics, so when you strike the target, it's going to be less with that shorter barrel. So I was always a fan of the longer barrel, to be perfectly honest.
Well, the shorter barrels definitely look sexier.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean,
but from a functionality standpoint, you can't beat it, man.
Having the longer barrel didn't bother you. Like, you rather have the longer barrel than a little bit more maneuverability, I guess, because I guess it didn't hinder you that much.
Yeah. Frankly, man, for the position and role that I was in, the fight's outside. I did a lot more, I had a lot more engagements going to and from target than I did in the house. So I always recommend a longer barrel. Now you'll see me on the range with a short barrel for ease of maneuver and all those things and whatnot. I've gotten lazy now, but fact of the matter is longer barrel, longer dwell time, better ballistic outcome. So yeah.
Well, with that, I think we get to our number 3.
Number 3, that's Trace in Espanol.
See.
All right, so your number 3 on the list was something that we were lucky enough to get, because it's not like they're super common or anything like that. But when you first opened the case, it was awesome because you could see the look on your face that we actually had one.
Yeah, man, it was super cool.
So shout out to the guy that loaned us one.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
It is a Mark 13 in 300 Win Mag. And God, the thing's heavy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, dude. Let's see here. So, yeah, so the Mark 13. I was actually involved with the testing of this rifle out here at Atterbury. This is kind of why I chose it, or one of the reasons I chose it. Kind of a game changer in the long range world, if you will, for us. Heavier bullet, still in 308, but a heavier bullet going faster, flying flatter, right? During the initial testing, we were testing can variants. There were a couple of different can variants, And then there were the actual cartridge variants. We were running 190s, which they ended up selecting. I don't know why, because there's also a 210 grain Sierra Match King hollow point boat tail that we were running out of it that really outperformed the 190. It must have been a cost issue or something. But we were literally shooting sub-minute out to 1,500 meters. They actually had us on a flatbed trailer laying, belly shooting from there, but consistently performing sub-minute or minute of angle at 1,500, which is 15 inches, granted, but still, I mean, that accuracy at that distance is pretty impressive, all things considered. I never really ran this on mission, just due to the environments that I was in. Is primarily an urban environment most of the time. But I do know some guys that have done a lot of work with these things. And it's just an all-around good platform, man. From a performance standpoint, obviously throw your night vision capability on there too. So again, versatility and overall just lethality, this thing is a go-to. So.
Nice. Well, just the fact that you were involved in the testing on that, I didn't know that. That's pretty amazing. And this one is supposed to be pretty clone correct, from my understanding.
It looks very similar. I mean, it's the AI chassis that we ran. So the initial ones that we were testing had a tapered barrel due to the can that we ended up down selecting. I don't know what they're running now and whatnot, but yeah, this is pretty damn close, man. It's super cool. Really nostalgic.
Sorry. Unfortunately, we can't shoot this one.
Oh yeah.
I wish we could.
It's no worries.
But we don't really have
ammo per se.
Well, ammo.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would appreciate us shooting this at a 25-yard indoor range. I mean, you could, but
yeah, you could.
This is not ours, and the guy was nice enough to loan it to us, so we don't want to just help ourselves to it.
Yeah, super cool, man. Really nostalgic. That's awesome.
So, have you ever 360 no-scoped with this during testing?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
All right, so number 2 on your list, unfortunately, we could not get a hold of. They're a little expensive.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, but the M240.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
M240 Bravo.
You know what? We don't have one here, but do this, and we'll Photoshop one in for you.
Oh yeah, just hold it over my head.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Now I chose the 241 because when I got to regiment, I went to weapons squad. I was a small guy, and for some reason they put me in weapons squad. It made me stronger, though, in typical Ranger fashion. Not only that, as my career progressed and my involvement in the global war and terrorism, we had 240s on all of our trucks. If you're on a BP truck or blocking position truck, we had two 240s off the side from the rear, and then the main weapon system be a M134 minigun or an M250 cal. Never really ran too many Mark 19s. I think that was more of an Afghanistan deal. But that said, the M2 and the M134, both PSYOPs effectiveness on the battlefield. One, from just an appearance standpoint. Two, you hear those things light off and it starts changing decision points on the battlefield, right? But make no mistake about it, the 240 as well starts, that'll get somebody thinking as well. That thing is a game changer, super reliable. I mean, that thing runs dirty. We're always kicking up dust as we're traveling and whatnot, and you got to clean the son of bitches every time we park the trucks and whatnot. But still, that thing it runs. It ran good. Never really had any issues out of them. It's just a machine, bro. Hence machine gun. There you go. But yeah, no, it's one of my favorites all time. Yeah, probably it's number 2 on the list. Yeah. There you go.
All right. So the number 1, I know this is kind of hard for you to pick your number 1 out of all these, but we've seen it in person the first time that I guess you hadn't shot one since you were there.
Yeah.
And then all these years later, we hand you one at the range and we just kind of saw the look on your face.
Bro.
It lit up.
I literally, like, it was like I was holding back tears, dude. I was like, gosh damn, dude, that shit was awesome, man. But yeah, the Mark 12, I actually had a Mod H that I ran when it was hot and heavy in the Iraqistan. So this Bad Larry was my go-to, man. I carried this from 2006 to 2009, man. It's just a versatile platform. The scope was a little different, and the stock was a little different from this one, but yeah, just a great weapon system from a standpoint of doing an offset, moving to target. You could do whatever you needed to with this thing, honestly. In the environment that I was in, you have to understand that we were in an urban environment for the most part. I think the longest shot I ever took with this thing was just under 200 meters. Again, with the night vision, I would carry that thing off weapon because a lot of times when we show up on target, one of the warning systems was they would turn the power on in that area, so all the street lights come on. So I had it handy, but I would travel in this configuration, believe it or not. Ran 77 grain, Black Hill 77 grain, Sierra Match Kings in this thing. It's a terminal ballistics on we'll call it a human-sized target.
Sure.
Or
YouTube friendly.
Yeah, YouTube friendly. The terminal ballistics on that round from this platform, high performance. And again, you got to think about, you see all these things in Hollywood and these guys taking headshots from 700, 800, 900 meters. The capability is there within the weapon system. The capability is within the training level of the shooter as well. But you're hot and heavy, getting the target, getting high, getting on top of a building with this thing. This is my go-to, man. So number one on the list. Again, it's super awesome to hold this thing, man.
Yeah, and it really is another one of those just iconic rifles from that era.
Yeah, and it's so cool that you guys know that stuff, man. I think it's like seeing people from in the 2A space and in the industry, like kind of paying homage to that body of work and to the tools that we use is so cool, man. Even to the artists out there that are creating art that are kind of derived from that stuff. It's really cool, man. It's super on. And hopefully moving forward, we can do more with that stuff, more collaboration type stuff and bring attention to fostering and perpetuating the 2A movement because, it's necessary.
Absolutely. Right? And this is JT's, which I know is it's pretty close to clone correct. I know the lower is different. The scope is a little bit different, but other than that, it's very close to a variant that you would have seen. Yeah, well, I know yours is a little bit shorter barrel too.
A little shorter. We had I don't know who made the can. Well, I think we figured out who made the can on that one.
AEM? Yeah, that makes sense. And then I know Otter Creek Labs makes a reproduction one now.
Man, I've got to talk to Otter Creek Labs. Yeah, I think we had a Mark 4. It was mil-dot scope, second focal plane, so you had to run it on 10 power for your dope to be correct. But yeah, I made do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool, man. Thank you guys for doing this for me. It's super
rad, I thought it'd be super interesting.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add?
No.
Nice glasses.
I appreciate it.
I love those. You want me to borrow them?
You can have them.
Tight.
I'll get you some. Actually, no, you can't have these. I'll get you some.
Thanks,
Christmas
bro.
present.
All right, well, that was your top 5. Huge shout out to Lawman Tactical and the Country Club. Check out this place if you guys are in the southern Indiana area. They've got like a gym that you were working out this morning. They've got a dojo, a bar, a restaurant. It's pretty cool. So if you're in the area, we'll put a link down in the description below. So huge shout out to Lawman for allowing us to be here. And yeah, appreciate you stopping by and doing this with us. Bring back some memories.
Bro, yeah, it was super rad, man. I really appreciate you guys doing that for me, man.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Of course, if you have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below, and we will have Casey there answering some of them. I know you like reading those comments too. So.
Yeah, I do. I react to some of those comments as well. I will fight you, internet. I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see everybody in the next video.
Thanks.
It's a wrap.
Baby.
He means
Brian,
Casey
thank you.
Hildreth from
I know that took
Cody
a not a maneuverability.